The Japanese influence in South America is spreading. Chile's new leader was found to support armed terrorists disrupting the regional trade networks of the United States. The government decided to launch a military operation and occupy Easter Island in order to deprive the rebels of their base of operations. We will absolutely support this action. This, of course, has caused some political trouble. Specifically, Britain and France have protested vehemently. But once again, we will have to remind them of the Monroe Doctrine and its implications. There is no nation, neither European nor Asian, to interfere on the American continent. And for that, we will need 3,000 tons. So I guess we are going to send yet another ship out of the Pacific Fleet, although we are running a little... 3,000 tons isn't much. We can probably send a light cruiser. Where did we park the fleet? In Miami. We can send the Omaha there. So we'll send Omaha. It needs 3,000 tons. That should be sufficient. So let's move the Omaha. No need to send the battleships. Omaha should be able to take care of that. That is more than enough. So let's move her there. And then we will deal with that local uprising here and the piracy that has caused grief in the Americas, and hopefully teach them a lesson that any kind of interference is not to be tolerated. While the USS Omaha is on the way to the Easter Islands to enforce our doctrines, I'm passing by some Colombian ports to make a coincidental show of force. The situation in Europe is becoming worrying. Both Germany and Austria-Hungary are once again out for blood. Germany has occupied Western Poland, and Austria-Hungary is currently invading Ukraine. This does not bode well for security in Europe, because I'm sure at some point the Soviet Union, despite their recent revolutionary difficulties, is going to start responding, and we will have to see whose side we are picking. At the moment, the mood seems to be more towards supporting the Soviets rather than the rest of continental Europe. The USS Omaha has arrived at the Easter Islands, but it looks like the Chilean defenders are more well entrenched than we initially thought, and her guns are potentially not sufficient to deal with the shore bombardment duties. We will try to send the New York after her and see if she can make it there in time to turn the tide of that naval landing. Meanwhile, Japan has been increasing their construction of capital ships and are now fielding 3 battleships and 1 battle cruiser, in addition to their relatively large fleet of light ships, and they are remaining an opponent of concern. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Construction has presented us with new plans for modern battleships. Unfortunately, given our current financial situation, none of this is going to be possible. We've also got 21-inch torpedoes at this point, which might be a nice change for the next class of destroyers. But all of this will go into the drawers of the naval designers at this stage, because we have to deal with the economic situation, and while the US economy is growing, it is not great. Meanwhile, Cyprus has decided to sign an alliance with us as well, which is a good sign of the spreading of American influence across the world. In Europe, Germany is continuing their forward push and has started assaulting Lithuania, firmly stepping within the Soviet sphere of influence. We're not sure for how much longer this is going to go well, and at least the Ukrainians have managed to defeat the Austro-Hungarian invaders, and on the southern flank things seem to have calmed down a little bit. After a conference in Germany, our engineers have brought back plans for a new metallurgical breakthrough and a new type of Krupp armor that we might be able to employ. And although it is going to cost us, and again at the moment it's it's not viable financially. Meanwhile, Lithuania has signed an alliance with the Soviet Union. This is, as well as has Denmark. This puts the lines in Europe firmly down between the Central Powers and the Soviets. Despite the presence of the big guns of the USS New York, the Easter Island campaign has ended in a defeat. The defenders on the island have managed to push back the commandos that have been sent to take control, and the increasing losses have convinced our politicians to stop the intervention and get everybody to return home. This is very unfortunate, and yet another escalation of Japanese influence in the Pacific. The small island nation of Vanuatu has put themselves on the side of the Japanese as well. We will send a battleship force from the Philippines in order to support the American landings there, to have yet another attempt at preventing further Japanese spread of influence. Making sure this time, we're sending the Idaho, the New Mexico, and their destroyer escorts from Davao. And that should be a sufficient number of guns to convince the local government that accepting the position of an American military governor and advisor is a wise move in this situation. Towards the end of the financial year of 1921, our finances are not in a great state. We would love to increase our shipyard size, but right now we don't really have any funds available. We will have to reduce the budget currently allocated to technical innovations and see if that's going to free up some available capacity. So let's get 15 months, 360 million. No, that's a lot. I think I will try to instead what are we currently building? We're commissioning a bunch of light cruisers. We're building the Colorado. The rest is on commission. So maybe we'll get one of the, not that one, the original, the refitted Lexingtons. Can't build the ship. I'm not sure why. Do I have to delete the original design? Can I build it now? Okay, probably because it's a refit design, I can't build any. That is very unfortunate. Guess we'll have to find a better way of doing this then. That's an interesting game mechanic, really. Can we sort of base it off that ship? Where's the Lexington? That one. Can we create a new design? Can we copy that design? Let's see. So maybe I shouldn't have done a refit originally, but just copied it. And then we'll call that the Lexington. And we'll save that design, and we'll delete that refit. Yes. And then we'll see if we can actually build that thing. We also have a couple of new hulls, as you can see. The modern battleship hull. That's probably going to be a South Dakota at some point. And we've got heavy cruisers. So we can build ourselves some actual heavy cruisers. These things are going to have 31 knots design speed, 31.5. So this is something we can look at in terms of longer terms to actually build some heavy cruisers. But for now, yeah, we don't want that. There we go. Now we can build ourselves a Lexington class battle cruiser. And that'll once again strain our finances even further, so we will have to reduce the technology budget to 65%. But that should appease Congress, and it looks like our conquest of Vanuatu is progressing nicely. Our troops at the beaches, with the fire support of the big guns, have very quickly overrun the local defenders, and the government of Vanuatu has agreed to step down and hand over control to the American military governor, who will control this outpost in the Pacific going forward. It is against our policy of bringing freedom and independence to the oppressed, but at the same time we have to face the political reality of Japanese influence spreading, and in the end this is going to be the safer option for the locals on the islands rather than being invaded by Japan at some point. With the drafts for a hull for a modern destroyer and with the advent of 21-inch torpedoes, I think we are going to get ourselves a new destroyer, and we're going to call that the Farragut class. There we go. So let's design a ship, and maybe we can keep it at 2,000 tons displacement. Don't want to get them too expensive. These things have a maximum optimal speed of 36 knots, so let's key that in. Many bulkheads should be sufficient, and let's see what we can make of this compared to they're certainly faster than the flush deck destroyers that we've been previously building. So we'll see what we can do with that thing. First of all, we'll not start with the torpedoes. Let's start with the main tower. Can we actually fit any of these towers on there? That's the usual question. That one fits. So we'll see what that looks like. I wouldn't mind actually having a torpedo boat, or I mean, this tower looks too large, doesn't it? Maybe a smaller one. Doesn't fit. That one fits. That's the only one that fits. Okay. Leave it there. Thank you, game. Okay. Modern design, so multi-role destroyer probably. Let's see what kind of 5-inch gun. We're still on 5-inch twins. Let's see what we can build that has a decent amount of firepower. I would love to have something that can actually fire forward. So if we put a barbette here, could we fit a? Yes, we can. So we'd had a super firing pair of 5-inch guns. Then we'll have a secondary tower, and we can get that with a barbette. So we can fit another pair of guns back. Although I'm kind of more keen on torpedoes, to be honest. But so maybe we'll just do that and fit one of these back here. So we do have to fit funnels in. Dual funnel, that would be enough, but that'll consume all the space in the middle. So we'll go with the thin funnels. And I think the small, yeah, let's use these. It's 1, 2. Not an awful lot of space for the torpedo launchers, to be honest. So we could can we fit 2 quad launchers in here? One, that would be a negative. So we could only fit 1 quad launcher in here. Alternatively, we can pull that superstructure way back over there. Gives her a terrifying forward offset. And see if we can fit the torpedo launchers rearwards. We could do that. Or we see if we can fit one here and still fit another quad launcher torpedo in the middle. Give me another torpedo launcher. Yes, there we go. Now we just have to up the torpedoes to 21-inch. And there we go. Bigger torpedoes. So we've got 8 torpedoes. 8 21-inch torpedoes. We've got a decent engine efficiency, and we've got a modern set of 6 5-inch guns for 8 torpedoes. It's not bad. Alternatively, we could try to side mount these. Let's see if that's something we can actually get in here. No, that won't work. So no, I'll stick with the center mounted torpedoes. Let's get that in there. Would have loved to have another gun turret on, but maybe we can fit something. Can we fit a 2-incher anywhere? That would be a negative. 2-inch single, negative. So this whole barbetted rear superstructure is pretty much just rangefinders and other stuff. So still a pretty hefty forward weight offset. What if we pull the engines back like that? Can we pull the both funnels back and then instead get the torpedo launcher in here? Yep, that is slightly better. What if we take that funnel and put it there and then put the torpedo launcher in the middle? How would that look like? Not any better, and it looks a bit weird, so let's not do it. Let's put the funnels where I had them. Although that does look weird. You know what? This isn't actually so bad. Maybe this is not this looks at least more balanced than putting the funnels back there. So we've got a centerline torpedo launchers, we've got a rear mounted torpedo launchers, we've got a twin turret here, double twins super firing forward. Can we pull this any further back? A little bit, but not an awful lot. Can we pull the gun a little back, maybe? Yeah, that works, sort of. Yeah, that's workable. That's workable. 1% forward weight offset. I think that's a pretty nice and balanced modern destroyer. 6 guns only, but 8 21-inch torpedo launchers, and what else can we fit in there? So we obviously want oil fuel. We might be able to, I hadn't actually changed this. We might be able to get away with 1 funnel, actually. Hang on. I didn't realize I hadn't changed that. Can we get a single funnel in here? Yes. And I could put this thing in, but again, there's no space for anything if I do that. Can we get 1 funnel in here? And then could we put that thing further back and fit the twin launches, the twin quad launches in the center line? That's terrifyingly bad forward weight offset, though. Or we put the funnel in the middle. That helps with the engine spaces moved. Can we get the torpedo launcher in there? Sort of. Not the greatest torpedo angles in the world, I have to admit. Not happy with this. Not happy with this. We could do. I mean, this is not a terrible setup, but the forward weight offset is prohibitively bad. So we definitely want that as far in the rear as we can. And we can stick the funnel somewhere in there. And then I think we'll just have to live with the bad torpedo angles here. And that is looking stupid. I don't like it. I don't like this at all. This looks silly with the single funnel here. Okay, how are we going to play this? I would love this to be here, because that makes more sense. But the forward weight offset is terrifying. We can stick the other torpedo launcher here. That helps, actually, because these things are reasonably heavy. So we'll do that. And then we put the funnel where it belongs. And the torpedo launcher here. Now we still have the offset again. Okay, the funnel has to be at the aft superstructure. But I think this I'm happier with in terms of looks. It looks less silly. So let's do it like that. It's pretty balanced. It doesn't look completely stupid. And we're still running on natural boilers. Auxiliary 2, shaft 2. We're going to go for an unbalanced rudder. And probably electric steering. I think armor doesn't make a huge difference. So let's check the cost. It's just more expensive. 43 million, 44 million. I mean, we've got the displacement, really. It's just that it gives us actually more armor strength. Let's go with Crook 4. Barbette. Double hull. Reinforced 2. Can we do that? And anti-flood. How are we price-wise? How much was the porters? Oh, we're already across the porters in terms of cost. And we haven't even put everything on yet. Let's see. So what did we put on the? Can't really see that. What kind of shells I put on these? What I did. That's 4-inch. Let's put the coincidence rangefinder. Definitely hydro. We don't need mines, but mine sweeping equipment would be good. And depth charges as well. Advanced radio is sufficient. And I think, can we get, no, we can't even get to 1-inch, can we? No, basically we don't have any armor. We'll put 0.8 inch splinter protection. Pretty much all around the ship. And that is a relatively large amount of weight, actually. And that's the best armor we're going to get here. The 5-inch guns can live with 5-inch on the sides and 2-inch on top. And can we get... no. Okay. And then we are relatively close. We're not putting any mines in. We are going to use Cordite 2 and TNT. I would love this to be an autoloader, but I think I don't have the design for it. So we're just going to go with enhanced reloading. And can we get electrical 1? Yes, we can. And I think we are at 60 million for a destroyer, which is a lot, but it's a nice destroyer. I think I will like this destroyer, so we'll start building something at some point like that. Now the question of ammunition type, with the semi-armor piercing shells have a 2.4 inch armor penetration. That's not going to be enough. I think semi-ballistic, 3-inch at 5,000 meters, might be close. Standard shells probably better. Yeah, 4.3 inch. I want to make sure that we can actually do something against enemy destroyers, and we use the high capacity for everything else just to set fires. And I think we have ourselves a Farragut class destroyer that I am reasonably happy with. Balanced ship, not the most powerful engines in the world, but good range, and 36 knots is definitely worth it speed-wise. So let's save that design, and we will get to it when we get to it. Because right now I have no money. Yeah, probably don't have the finances to start building those just yet. We'll get to it eventually when the financial situation is a little better. And for now, that's it. I think for now, the political situation in the world is tense, but we're still far away from any kind of armed conflict between major nations. Japan, I believe, is still the biggest threat, but given our improved relations with the Soviet Union, I think the fact that the Germans are pushing into the Soviet sphere of influence and the Hungarians were trying the same thing, we might have to pick sides at some point. My money is still on Japan, and we'll see what we can do to further push them back, and we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.